Whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
So hi, my name is Malloy, and this is my senior project presentation. So my essential question was, how can I design a small course to inform students on how to properly use the 3D printers and associated softwares? To me, this meant making a small series of videos that students could watch and get a basic outline on the printers, because it is a very complex and big world to it. So why did I choose this project? The printers were just kind of sitting around when I originally used them in my sophomore year. Mr. D said only one student previously, Malloy, used them, and the school actually has 5 of them, so it's a shame that they're just kind of sitting around. Originally, one was donated to the school, and Mr. Neville actually had one. So those were moved to Mr. D's room, and the school decided to purchase 3 more. So I really hope that there will be more use out of them. But to get that going, more people need to know how to use them. So that's why I decided this as my project. And if enough students get interested, I'm hoping that the school could fund for new equipment, because 2 of the printers are actually broken right now. So the only ones I'm showing how to use today are the Dremels, and there actually is a machine that recycles prints and makes it into reusable filament, which I think would be very useful for the school and save a lot of money in the long run. So my mentor was Mr. DiGiamarino, or for short, Mr. D. He gave me his approval to use the printers and use his room whenever I needed. He gave me everything I needed to get going with my project. And what I hope to achieve is obviously more interest and use out of the printers, but I hope to get other classes maybe interested, specifically Mr. Brownell's engineering class. I think it would be a great benefit to his class if they could print gears or pieces to electronics or whatever they're doing currently in that class, or any other classes that would possibly need it as well. So my plan going into this was to get my research done and then start storyboarding for my videos, get those recorded, and uploaded to YouTube and Google Classroom. So for research, the first thing I did was research different 3D CAD softwares, and 3D CAD stands for 3D Computer Assisted Design. There are many different softwares for that, but I settled on Tinkercad because it is a browser application, so you don't need to download anything. You can just go to the website and make an account. And then next, I researched recording and editing tips, because I have very minimal experience with it, especially in the educational field. So I found some very useful tips for that. And then lastly, I researched Google Classroom, because I was pretty sure from the beginning that's what I wanted to use as the main home for all my videos, but I wanted to get some outside input and make sure that was the best. And many students and teachers agreed that Google Classroom was the best place. It was very easy for students and teachers to both navigate, and had just the best organization overall. So first thing I did was storyboarding. It was a very simple process. I just listed some bullets of topics I wanted to cover, and then put those into more specific categories. I tried to include a couple under each category. I didn't want to cram too much into one video and make them too long or too boring, and try and not overwhelm the viewer with too much information at one time, so they would have time to intake all of that. So next was recording. I used OBS Studio because I've used it previously, and it's just what I'm familiar with. It's a screen recording software, and most of those are generally the same, so no real special reason I chose that. And then recording at home is where I used OBS. At home, I recorded how to use all of the softwares and downloading and transporting your files. And then at school, I just used my phone and a tripod to record the printers and all the stuff I was doing on them. And it was from a point of view perspective, so the students could really see what I was doing. And then next was editing. I used Adobe Premiere Pro. No real special reason, again, it's just what I'm familiar with, and through school email, it's actually free, and it's one of the best out there, so that's why I chose that. With my editing process, according to my research, it's best to just compile your clips together for an educational video. You don't want to do any fancy edits, because it just distracts the viewer, so I just put all the clips together and voiced them over, and that was it for my editing. And then for uploading, I uploaded everything to YouTube and then to Google Classroom. Everything's uploaded on my personal YouTube account, so anyone can have access to it. They're just all unlisted, so they'll be on the Google Classroom for the links. I was originally going to have everything in a playlist on YouTube, but since they're unlisted, it wouldn't appear anywhere, so I decided not to do that. And for my final product, I have my Google Classroom and videos on YouTube. Everything on Google Classroom is listed, the videos at least are top to bottom in order. And up at the top, I just have a couple links and resources that are just very general ones. Like I have a link to Tinkercad, a link to the official safety and instructions on the Dremel 3D20s, and a link to purchase more filament. It's just a link to Amazon to buy the official Dremel filament. And then my success, I think my videos covered the basics of what you need to get going with this. Like I said, it's a very complicated thing, so you can't really just go in and teach someone. You just gotta give them the basics and they go from there. So I feel like my videos accomplished very well. And then I'll show you what my Google Classroom looks like. So as you can see, it's just up at the top, and you got the links and resources. You got the videos on Tinkercad. So the first one is getting started with it. That shows you how to make an account, all the menus in there, and how to make new projects. And then I have modeling tips and tricks. This just highlights some basic information that everybody should know when modeling. For example, if you have overhangs on your model, you want to have little supports so it doesn't droop down because the filament's hot, so it'll just melt. You don't want to print anything that has a round bottom. You want to have a base to it, like a flat one that you can snap off, and just stuff like that. And then using the 3D printers, I actually show you how to transport your model to the 3D printer so it will print. You can do this either through a USB that plugs into the computer or an SD card. I show you how to do it both ways. And then below that, I show you a finished model. In there's a time lapse of a model printing and showing how to safely remove it from the print bed. And lastly, I have basic printer maintenance. That shows you how to level the bed of the printer, which is where your model is actually going to print. And it's very important that that is level, otherwise your prints will just get all messed up. Also shows you how to change the filament in the printers. That's the plastic material that they all print out of. And I show all the other settings on the printer, but those aren't really things that students are going to be touching unless there's like a mechanical error with the printer, which there shouldn't be. So my failures, Mr. Carter actually suggested that I run a small class on showing how to use them, but ultimately it came down to time management. I didn't get that done. I really liked that idea, and I wish I managed my time better to get that done, so it's a real shame that I didn't get that. I also would have liked to maybe do a little more with my videos, but because of time management, I got them done at the last minute, but I feel like they get the job done well enough for me to be successful with this. What did I get out of my project? I got the experiences of video making, editing, and teaching. I actually want to go into computer science as a job, so getting familiar with video making and editing softwares is something that's just going to benefit me. It can't hurt me at all. And then I got the teaching aspect out of it. I've never taught anything before, but I feel like I did an okay job with it, and that's something that is going to benefit me. If I go into these fields, because people will look up to me, I'll be like maybe their mentor for something. So thank you to Mr. D for letting me use his room and guiding me through my project. And then thank you to Mr. Carter for being so lenient with the due dates on my papers and giving me his own personal input and feedback of what I was doing. Sources, any questions?